Welcome back to our journey through the Bible. After leaving the Garden of Eden, life was a harsh reality check for Adam and Eve. The ground was stubborn, resisting Adam's every effort with thorns and thistles. Eve experienced the sharp pains of childbirth, but through that pain came an incredible joy. Holding her firstborn, she named him Cain, saying, "With the Lord's help, I have brought forth a man." Sometime later, their second son, Abel, was born. As the boys grew, the stories of the lost garden filled their childhood. They learned about their parents' idyllic beginning and the tragic choice that changed everything. They learned about God, about worship, and about sacrifice. The brothers chose different paths. Cain, like his father, became a farmer, tilling the soil. Abel became a shepherd, tending the flocks that roamed the land. One day, the time came for them to bring their offerings to the Lord. Cain presented some of the fruits of his labor produce from the ground he toiled over. Abel, on the other hand, brought the very best he had. He selected the firstborn lambs from his flock, choosing the fattest, most prized portions. This was a demonstration of his heart, giving the first and the best back to God. Then came the moment of truth. God accepted Abel and his gift. But for Cain and his offering, he had no regard. We don't know the exact reason. Perhaps it was the quality of the offering. Or perhaps it was the attitude of Cain's heart. Whatever the reason, the rejection was clear. Cain's face fell. A hot, bitter anger began to burn inside him. His jaw tightened, his fists clenched. Why was Abel's offering good enough, and his wasn't? The question echoed in his mind, fueling a growing fire of jealousy and resentment. It just didn't seem fair. God, who sees everything, saw the darkness gathering in Cain's heart. He approached him not with condemnation, but with a gentle question. "Why are you so angry?" He asked, "Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted?" God was laying out the path to restoration. Then came the warning, a powerful image of the struggle we all face. But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. God painted a picture of sin as a predator, a wild beast waiting for a moment of weakness to pounce. He was telling Cain, "You have the power to master this. Don't let it control you." It was a moment of grace, a chance to turn back. But Cain didn't listen. The words of God, meant to guide and protect him, were drowned out by the roaring jealousy in his soul. He allowed the beast of sin to creep in, whispering its poison into his ear. He made a plan. One day, he approached his brother with a seemingly innocent suggestion. "Let's go out to the field," he said to Abel. Abel, unsuspecting, agreed. Out there, away from everyone, Cain's jealousy and anger finally boiled over. He turned on his brother. He attacked Abel, and he killed him. The silence that followed was deafening. The first murder had been committed, brother against brother. Cain stood there, his hands stained with his own brother's blood. In that moment of horrifying clarity, a familiar voice broke the silence. God asked, "Where is your brother Abel?" It wasn't a question for information. God already knew. It was an opportunity for Cain to confess. Cain's response was shockingly cold and defiant. "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" With that one question, Cain tried to shrug off all responsibility, severing the bond of family and humanity. But there is no hiding from God. His voice thundered, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." The earth itself was a witness to Cain's crime, testifying against him. The judgment was swift and severe. "Now you are under a curse," God declared, "and driven from the ground. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." The very thing Cain worked for, his identity as a farmer, was stripped away. The land he had stained would now reject him. Suddenly, the full weight of his sin crashed down on Cain. The defiance vanished, replaced by sheer terror. "My punishment is more than I can bear." He cried out, "Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." He was terrified of retribution. Even in this moment, after such a horrific act, God's mercy was present. He responded to Cain's fear. "Not so," God promised. "If anyone kills Cain, vengeance will be taken on him sevenfold." To seal this promise, God placed a mark on Cain. This mark was not a sign of shame, but a sign of God's protection, a warning to others not to harm him. It was an act of grace in the midst of judgment. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and settled in the land of Nod, a name which means wandering, east of Eden. He was alive, but he was spiritually separated, living in exile. For Adam and Eve, the grief was unimaginable. In a single day, they lost both of their sons, one to death, the other to a life of exile. The poison of sin, which had entered the world through their own choice, was now spreading, its devastating consequences rippling through their family. Yet even as the darkness spread, a sliver of light remained. God's plan was not defeated. His mercy, seen even in the mark he placed on Cain, was also spreading, a quiet promise that this was not the end of the story. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores these timeless narratives.